Heads up.
We thought we were choosing.
Well, good morning and welcome to day 9 of the Democrat shutdown. We give you a daily update here to just talk about what's happening and where we see things headed. Joined here by our leadership team and, of course, Chairman Mike Bost, who will talk with you about the pain that's being inflicted on veterans in particular. He runs that committee. I just want to summarize everything this morning as I've been doing on some interviews earlier today. This morning, Americans are watching a remarkable split screen. Two things happening simultaneously, and there's a rather stunning contrast between the two. On one screen, you see President Trump and Republicans delivering for the American people. You see President Trump and Republicans cutting taxes.
Testing, mic check 1, 2, 3. Testing, mic check. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Testing, mic check 1, 2, 3. Testing, mic check.
We give you a daily update here to just talk about what's happening and where we see things headed. Joined here by our leadership team and, of course, Chairman Mike Bost, who will talk with you about the pain that's being inflicted on veterans in particular. He runs that committee. I just want to summarize everything this morning as I've been doing on some interviews earlier today. This morning, Americans are watching a remarkable split screen. Two things happening simultaneously, and there's a rather stunning contrast between the two. On one screen, you see President Trump and Republicans delivering for the American people. You see President Trump and Republicans cutting taxes for hardworking American families. You see us ending the border crisis, ending the crime crisis. You see us eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse in government, and now resolving violent conflicts around the world. What President Trump achieved yesterday, was announced last night, is a truly historic foreign policy achievement. I mean, it cannot be understated. We should give a whole press conference just about that. The deal that he struck between Israel and Hamas will achieve incredible results, not just for that region, but for every peace-loving people around the world, everyone around the world. He's going to bring the hostages home. 2 years they've been in captivity. They'll finally be delivered home. We're all watching the images of the celebrations in Israel and around the world. By people in Gaza and in Israel, that this is coming to an end. He's going to bring the hostages home. He's going to bring peace and security back to Israel and truly lay the foundation for a lasting peace in the Middle East. This is a goal and an objective that's been stated by presidents and politicians and policymakers and people around the globe for generations. And President Trump has the strength and the vision and the resolve to do it. He's the only president who could have, as has been demonstrated. And look at the other side of the screen. So that's all going on one side of the split screen. Now look at the other. The stark contrast with the Democrats who shut down the government. Republicans are busy working around the clock to deliver for the American people, voting over and over to open the U.S. government, and laying the foundation for lasting peace and working to deliver for American troops and military families. And what do you see on the other screen? Democrats playing games with the lives and livelihoods of the people we represent. They have now voted in the Senate. The Senate Democrats have voted 6 times to keep the government shut down. And I just want to tell you one of the most outrageous things I've seen since I've been following politics in the mid-'80s when I was a kid in the Reagan era. Chuck Schumer did an interview last night and bragged, this is what he said, quote, he had the audacity to say, quote, every day of this shutdown gets better for us, his party. I don't even know how to comment on that. It's so stunning to me how callous he can be to play political games and use American citizens as the pawns in a political game. We're in day 9. The consequences of this Democrat shutdown are very real, and he can mock it and he can pretend like it gets better for him. It doesn't. It doesn't get better for the country. Right now, half our civilian federal employees are on furlough. Real, vital, critical services that American citizens in all categories rely upon are halted. And when we talk specifically about our military, right now service members, military personnel at home and abroad, as well as Border Patrol agents, TSA, air traffic controllers, they're all working without pay. I was on C-SPAN this morning on that program they do in the morning where American citizens call in. They have a Republican line, a Democrat line, an independent line. One of the callers called in and she was so upset. She's a young military mother. And she has 2 special needs children, as she told her story. In tears, she's so angry, and so am I, that their services are being delayed. I mentioned here at this podium last few days, I mean, I have a big military district in Louisiana's 4th District. We have Fort Polk in Barksdale Air Force Base, lots of airmen, lots of soldiers. Many of them are deployed right now, defending your freedom around the world. And they've left their young families at home. They live paycheck to paycheck, many of these service members. And this is not a game. Chuck Schumer thinks it is. He says, quote, every day of the shutdown gets better for us. What the heck is he talking about? All of us on this side, we're kept up at night. This is a sad situation, and we've got to get through it. We're almost 3 weeks ago, just by way of quick review, the House did its job. We did the responsible thing. We passed a clean, continuing resolution, no frills, nothing to it, 24 pages, bare minimum, to keep the lights on, so that Republicans and Democrats can do their work, and get together and do this job, to deliberate and negotiate and go through the process that Congress does on everything all the time, to work on all these issues. We voted to keep critical programs funded, and that ensures federal workers get paid, that our troops and TSA agents and Border Patrol and many more get their paychecks. We had that vote almost 3 weeks ago. Virtually every Republican voted to keep the government open and to make sure those paychecks are done. The Democrats in the House, all but one, voted to close the government and, by extension, stop paying troops, stop paying TSA agents, Border Patrol, air traffic controllers, and all the rest. We've done our job, and the Democrats need to do theirs now. That ball has been sent to the other court. That is the place where it lands right now. 6 times, I remind you, they voted to shut it down. We need 5 Democrats to break ranks. We need 5 of them to wake up and come to their senses and do the right thing for the American people. How long are they going to allow this pain to be sustained? I talked with the president last night. He called me after the peace deal was done, and he and I both lament, we all do, this terrible situation that we're in. While we're working to do all these positive things for the people and even settle conflicts around the world, the Democrats are playing games. It's political theater to them. They've reduced Americans' pain to a political prop. I'll just say this briefly. I'm going to let the other leaders speak here, but just a few things that you've seen. While we're doing all this work, we're working around the clock to deliver on all these things I've just listed. Democrats are playing games. They film themselves wandering the Capitol, beating on doors and posting flyers and pretending to look for their colleagues. They hosted a live stream. Oh, it's so embarrassing. House Democrats, they hosted this live stream where they ate candy and told terrible jokes to each other. They had an audience smaller than this room for the whole country. The leader of the Democrat Party is bragging about the cost that this is being borne by the American people. And just yesterday, I had 2 Democrat senators come over and stage a failed publicity stunt outside my office. I heard about it, walked out and confronted them and set them right on the truth. They came to this side of the Capitol to try to put on a little political show for their online audience, and then they walked right back over there and voted for the 6th time to keep the government shut down. Give me a break. Democrats seem to be doing everything except the one thing that Americans desperately need and deserve, and that's passing our clean CR to get the government operating again. That's all we're asking of them. Stop the political stunts. Stop the madness. Stop saying that you're enjoying inflicting pain on the American people, for goodness sakes, and pass the clean CR in the shutdown today. I'm going to turn it over first to our chairman, Chairman Mike Bost. He, as you know, works on all things regarding American veterans. He's the chairman of our committee that handles all of that. And we just wanted him to talk specifically about the costs that are being borne by our veterans because the Democrats shut down. Chairman?
First off, I want to say thank the Speaker, and let me tell you this. I believe Secretary Collins and the administration is trying to do everything they possibly can with the money that we actually provided for them in advance for our veterans. Thank heaven we did. So the healthcare side and appointments and everything through our VA from that side is not in jeopardy yet. But let me tell you the areas that are and the concerns we have. In the CR that we pushed over 3 weeks ago now, we actually had extenders for certain programs that are vitally important, like the Fox Grant, which provides mental health and contracted mental health for many of our veterans who the suicides continue to happen at 17 a day. We also have things that we pushed over as far as the concerns we're dealing with continuing education. Continuing education is starting to fall by the wayside. The concerns that we have with other programs like this, there's about 7 of those programs, but those are going to start falling by the wayside. Now, one of the concerns that we're already hearing is the GI Bill. Right now, we're hearing rumors that as many as half of the people that have a GI Bill are not receiving GI Bill payments to their universities, and therefore, when they get on the line to try to call to make sure that their education will continue and it'll be paid for, to try to straighten it out, there's no one there to answer the phones. That is a concern. Day to day, our veterans are trying to make ends meet. Day to day, they're trying to hold on to their benefits. And day to day, they keep hearing these concerns, and they're going to continue to get worse. As a veteran, and as someone who tries to provide for them, the fear that I have for them is as this goes on, it will only get worse. It's not a game. It affects real people's lives. Another program that's out there that is concerning is those that might be needing home health care. Those are private providers. Now, like I said, Secretary Collins is trying to shift things around, but the authorization language expired on the 1st of October. Folks, this is not a game. It's very, very serious. And let me tell you this as well. As I watch us coming up on the deadline on the 15th, that the first time that our not only our veterans in dealing with this, but our military personnel, our young enlisted that may have spouses and children that are making it payday to payday, are all of a sudden trying to figure out, I'm living payday to payday, but I'm going to get no pay due. Let me tell you, that's personal to me. That's who I was. When I joined the United States Marine Corps, I was 18 years old and turned 19 in boot camp, got married out of boot camp, had a child. And for a short period of time, during the Carter administration, and we were living payday to payday. And when you saw no pay due, not everybody's got a parent that they can call. And you don't have a credit rating where you can actually call a banker. And you know what? Rent's still due. Food's still got to be put on the table. And for someone to say, hey, you know what, it's getting better for us every day, it's not getting better for them every day. And they are the people that are standing on the front line to keep this freedom of this nation in place. We are going to continue to do our job. We did our job. We sent it to the Senate. All of these things that I talked about were in that continuing resolution. And we made sure from our part at the VA committee that they were. It is time that the Democrats quit playing games with those people who they claim that they're all for, our veterans and those who serve this nation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it just shows you the real cost of a government shutdown that Chuck Schumer's imposed on the country. We hear over and over these stories, and we're hearing more of them every day now that we're in the 8th day of this shutdown. The pain that is being inflicted on real people. I did a town hall meeting last night with thousands of people on the call. And a number of people talked about the problems they're experiencing, seniors that want to make sure their Social Security checks are going to be delivered. Obviously, families of military personnel, we know those stories. We hear those stories. And what does Chuck Schumer say? You know, I read you the quote yesterday of a senator just a few days ago who said, quote, "The point of this shutdown is not just suffering for suffering's sake, but to make a point." That was a different senator. And then yesterday, Chuck Schumer, of course, says, quote, "Every day this gets better for us." So you've got to ask yourself, if you're Chuck Schumer and a good day for you is defined by how much suffering you can impose on other people, including our men and women in uniform, maybe you need to look in the mirror and check yourself at the door and wonder what it is you're up here trying to accomplish. Is that really why Chuck Schumer ran for office? To inflict pain on other people so that he can have a good day, a better day for himself. When that is your measuring stick for a good day, is how much pain you're inflicting on other American families, you have lost your way. And yet they vote over and over again to keep the government shut down. While trying to talk about other issues, we can be talking about those other issues without inflicting pain on people. We can be debating our differences, as President Trump said he wants to do, by opening the government back up again. And by the way, once we get the government back open again, if Democrats ever come to their senses, we still have a lot of differences to resolve. Those differences don't just get resolved tomorrow. November 21st gets closer every single day too. And then they're going to try to hold the American people hostage again on that deadline for some other unrelated issue, so that they can inflict more pain on the American people. But don't worry, Chuck Schumer will be having a good day if that pain's going to be inflicted on others. Thank goodness we have a president in the Oval Office who continues to stay focused on the job he was elected to do by the American people. And Speaker Johnson just pointed out how critically important that job President Trump is doing. You know, as we mark the 2-year anniversary of the horrible Hamas attacks on Israel, President Trump is brokering a release of all the remaining hostages so that those families can finally get closure. Hopefully, some are still alive. We know, sadly, some are not. But those families want to have that resolved. They want to see their loved ones come home. And President Trump has worked tirelessly. He said he would work tirelessly. And he continues to deliver for the American people. He continues to lead on the world stage and stand up to the bullies around the world. He continues to fight for American families who are counting on him. And then you look at what he has to fight against. He's got to fight against governors who are going to court to block the president from keeping the citizens of those states safe. You're in Chicago, Illinois. You don't care about the party affiliation of a criminal. You just want to be safe in your community, and today you're not. And President Trump is trying to make you safe. You would think your governor for one day would put aside those petty differences and say, well, gee whiz, Mr. President, finally we agree on something. But no, the Democrat Party has made a decision. Every day they wake up and they just want to fight Donald Trump. It doesn't matter what it is he wants to do. He wants to keep communities safe. They're going to fight him on it. He wants to keep the government open. They're going to fight him on it. President Trump wants to make sure our troops are paid. Chuck Schumer wants to fight him on it and talk about how good of a day it is for Chuck Schumer. When that happens, their party has lost their way. And it's not too late to come back. And so there will be other votes. Hopefully, we get 5 more Democrat senators that come to their senses and stop inflicting this pain on the American people. It's causing real harm on families. And hopefully they stop worrying about what that measuring stick is that says they have a good day only when the American people are having a bad day. Stop inflicting pain on the American people, Chuck Schumer, and open the government up. End this madness. Our whip, time out.
Yesterday, Senate Democrats, including the two senators from my home state of Minnesota, Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar, voted for a sixth time, as the Speaker mentioned, to shut the government down or keep it shut down. 6 times. That's 6 times that Senate Democrats have voted against, as Leader Scalise was just talking about, paying our troops. 6 times that they voted against the 13,000 Minnesota National Guardsmen who are showing up to work without receiving a paycheck. 6 times that they voted against supporting federal workers, air traffic controllers, border patrol agents, and the list goes on and on. And why? Because Democrats had decided they'd rather hold the American people hostage than pass the same nonpartisan clean CR that they supported just 6 months ago and that they passed 13 times under the Biden administration. Tina Smith claims she shut the government down so that she can, quote, protect Minnesotans' health care, unquote. But Tina, if that really was the case, why do you support a $1.5 trillion spending proposal that would give health care to illegal aliens while cutting $50 billion from rural health care? Is she just not being honest? This was never about health care for the Democrats. This has been about picking a fight with President Trump so that they can try to score points with the terrorist wing of their party. It's pure politics. And nothing reveals their true motivations more than Chuck Schumer taking a victory lap, as both the Speaker and the Leader have said, saying every day this gets better for us. So every day that our troops, TSA agents, and air traffic controllers work without pay is a better day than the last. That's disgusting. And every single person in this room should be holding Chuck Schumer accountable for his words. Unfortunately, Minnesota's 2 senators continue to follow Chuck Schumer off the end of the political pier with their needless shutdown. Earlier this week, our entire Minnesota Republican congressional delegation sent a letter to Senators Smith and Klobuchar urging that they please do the right and responsible thing by passing the House's nonpartisan clean CR and end the massive amount of pain that they're inflicting on Minnesotans and the American people. Our message today is still the same, and it's not going to change. All of us are united. It is enough with the games. Pass our CR. Get the government up and running again for Minnesotans. And I say this to my 2 senators, the people that elected you to do your job. Do your job. Your constituents deserve better than this. And with that, I turn it over to our conference chair.
It's interesting. I often want to ask Chuck Schumer, who is us? Because it's definitely not the American people, right? And as the leader said, the speaker said, compare and contrast the 2 split screens. So I want to start today, and I want to tell you just how grateful that I am that the hostages are finally coming home and that peace in the Middle East is on the horizon. And I want to look right to you and say, thank you, President Trump, because without you as our leader, this would not have happened. It is Joe Biden, or it was Joe Biden's weakness that got us into this situation. And thank God for you, President Trump, that it is your strength that has gotten us out of this situation. And this didn't happen by accident, right? It happened because of our president's strong leadership that puts America first and peace first. So again, I applaud President Trump for securing this historic peace deal. Now, like our speaker said, let's shift gears. The impact of the government shutdown is growing by the day. Planes are being grounded, paychecks are being missed, and people are hurting. Different than Chuck Schumer, he's having a good day. The American people are hurting. And why? I'll tell you why. Because Democrats are terrified of their own radical base. They are scared to death of their radical base. And let's be honest, Schumer is scared out of his mind from AOC. Think about that. Why else would he do it? He's voted for this 13 other times before. But let me share with you, enough is enough. Democrats have voted 6 times to keep the government closed. 6 times Democrats have voted against the American people. 6 times Democrats have voted against the American people. And if they do it again, 1.3 million brave men and women in their uniform could miss their paychecks next week. Chuck Schumer, how is that a good day for them? Explain that to them. I realize it's good for you and your radical base, but explain to those service members how that's a good day for them. That's 1.3 million families wondering how they are going to pay the bills, how they're going to buy groceries, how they'll fill the gas tank. That is disgraceful. Shame on you, Chuck Schumer. Our troops aren't bargaining chips. They are heroes, and let's treat them like they deserve to be treated. So when the Democrats vote again, I ask that they think of the military families who rely on the October 15th paycheck as their only source of income. And explain to them, Chuck Schumer, how that's a good day for them. I ask that they think of the servicemen and women living paycheck to paycheck. I ask that they think of them, not of the radical base that they're trying to appease. Let's put our troops before politics. Pass the clean House bill. Open up the government and pay our troops. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
I understand this is a heavy situation, this shutdown. Both parties think that they have the right goal and they're trying to strategize their way there. But why not put politics aside and shutdown strategizing aside to pass a standalone bill to pay the military? You mentioned that military mob that was on C-SPAN this morning. Do you ever think that this is lives and not politics, and the shutdown posturing can be put aside for the troops?
I'm so glad you asked the question. We're not pursuing a political strategy. The CR is clean. It doesn't have any Republican priorities on it at all. In fact, we're extending Biden-era policies and spending. It's exactly what Chuck Schumer gave you impassioned speeches on as recently as March of this year that must be done, that you don't play games with people's lives. They're the ones playing politics, not us. I've explained this, and I'll say it again. If there was something that we could peel off of the CR, if I could take a Republican priority or policy or trick or gimmick off the CR and make it more palatable for the Democrats in the Senate to vote for, I would have already done so. But I didn't send any of that on. We sent a totally clean document over there because we're operating in good faith. What's our goal, our strategy? To keep the lights on for the people of this country so that we can have their Congress working to resolve all these issues. They're trying to make this about health care. It's not. It's about keeping Congress operating so we can get to health care. We always were going to. They're lying to you, okay? The health care issues were always going to be something discussed and deliberated and contemplated and debated in October, November. It always was. Everybody in the building knows that. It's going on right now. There are conversations that have been going on for months leading up to this. They're lying to you. They're playing political games. They're trying to pretend that a December 31 policy issue has something to do with the fiscal cliff that we faced on September 30th with the shutdown. And they're doing that out of desperation. Why? Because their policies are so unpopular. The Democrat Party's in free fall. They have no leader. They have no policy that they can present to the people. Their platform was reputed in the last election. President Trump won every swing state in the popular vote. The House Republicans had the highest popular vote in the history that's ever been recorded. Why? Because the American people rejected the woke progressive nonsense that they're all still clung to. So they don't have anything. I mentioned yesterday, they just had a poll. The Democrat Party has the lowest approval rating of any time since polling began. So what do? They're desperate. There's a rising Marxist wing in the Democrat Party. They're about to elect a mayor of New York City. Chuck Schumer's from New York. He sees a rising Marxist challenge to himself. And there's one thing that Chuck Schumer cares about more than anything else, and that is his Senate seat. The guy's been in Congress for 44 years. He doesn't know how to live life outside this building, and so he will do anything to make sure that he keeps that seat. He thinks the AOC is going to challenge him or some other Marxist. I'm just telling you the plain truth, and I take no pleasure in this. I'm trying to muster every ounce of Christian charity that I can. But this is outrageous. He's playing games with the American people. Real people are being hurt, veterans and troops and everybody, people that rely on these services. God bless America. Do the right thing and open the government. Yes. Yeah.
If the goal is to keep the lights on and to protect these veterans and military service who are being hurt, why not put a standalone military pay deal on the table?
We have already voted to pay the troops. We did it 3 weeks ago. We put that bill on the floor, and the Republicans voted to pay the troops, TSA agents, Border Patrol, Air Traffic Patrol, and everybody else. The Democrats voted no. Go pull the records. 3 weeks ago, we had the vote. Only one Democrat voted with us to pay the troops. We've done it. The House has done its job. The reason the House isn't here in regular session is because they turned the lights off. We passed the bill, pay the troops, pay all these essential workers, provide services to the American people. We sent it over there clean. It's 24 pages. It's a bare bones document. It has no Republican priorities on it at all. It's exactly what they voted for before. And they decided to turn this into a political stunt. So coming back here and doing it and having a duplicative vote to do the same thing we already did would accomplish nothing. Because Chuck Schumer's going to stop it in the Senate. They're playing games. He's enjoying it. He told you in his own words, every day of the shutdown gets better for us. Golly, it's despicable.
Last question. Yesterday, you came out and engaged Senator Kelly, called this photo op.
Publicity stunt.
You called this a publicity stunt. Yesterday, Mr. Lawler went down and confronted Mr. Jeffries afterwards. I guess my question was, you as the speaker, considering how the tensions are rising in the building, if you had the House here, everybody here, there would be fights in the hallways. Are you concerned, and is it incumbent upon you as the speaker to try to lower this temperature? We see what happened outside your office yesterday. You engaged with the senators. Mr. Lawler coming downstairs and engaging with Mr. Jeffries, who, he really gave it back to them. But I've not seen that type of confrontation in this building in my 30 plus years.
I haven't either, Chad, and it concerns me.
I've been here longer than you.
I know you have. Look, since I got here, January 2017, I've been working on restoring civility to the institution. The first thing I ever did in Congress was draft the commitments to civility. I was proud that 52 out of 53 members of my freshman class, as I remember, signed on to that. Republicans and Democrats. Treat one another with dignity and respect. Let's have policy disputes, but not make it personal. This gets personal. Emotions are high. People are upset. I'm upset. I'm a very patient man, but I am very angry right now because this is dangerous stuff. And so, is it better for them probably being physically separated right now? Yeah, it probably is, frankly. I wish that weren't the case. But we do have to turn the volume down. The best way to turn the volume down is to turn the lights back on and get the government open for the people. Do the right thing. We need 5 Senate Democrats. Remember, it's math. We have to have 60 votes in the Senate to do this. Every Republican in the building is voting to open the government. The president wants to open the government. We need a few more Democrats because we only have 53 Republicans in the Senate. We got to have a handful of Democrats to join and do the right thing, and I hope they will. We'll keep you posted, wait for developments, and let's pray this ends soon. Thank you.
Is the House in session next week?
See you guys tomorrow.